Greetings, netters and netters, goddesses and guys. This is your netter brother, Andre. I'm going to get straight to the point. I was building with a friend on us rising higher, vibrating higher, elevating higher, mentally and spiritually, and feeling a great sense of separation from a lot of people around us because we're vibrating higher and learning new things, which cause us to think differently and behave differently as well. Me personally, I always knew that there was something there. I always knew that there was something around us concerning the spirit realm, because I knew that me, myself, was much more than what this physical body is, and that we are being psychologically programmed and taught to accept as truth. I mean, for those who believe in the spirit realm or the spirit world, gods, angels, loved ones who transitioned over, etc., then if you believe in that, then you have to internally know that there's more than this physical world. Then when you look around you and you see all the different types of birds, mammals, insect life, I'm just going to run on real quick and I hope y'all follow me. Sea mammals, sea creatures, all the numerous different forms of life on the planet Earth, period, from the air, the land, the sea. Then you have to intellectually and logically put together and come to the conclusion that if there are this many different forms of life on the planet Earth, and there are many other planets out there in the infinite Omniverse and cosmos, then there has to be other forms of life as well outside of our planet as we know it. Now, some will say, what does this have to do with black liberation? And my well-informed response to that is, in order to successfully combat our enemy, then we must know what they know and more. And the reason that they know these things is because they have studied our ancestors. Then upon those findings, they then took their research further to find out how our ancestors knew what they knew. They then took that research further on the planet Earth and studied the elements and how to manipulate them, like they're doing with the weather today. They studied all the various forms of life that they could, and they learned what makes them tick so they could conjure up ways to subdue these different life forms and eventually control and manipulate them as well. They studied the sun. They studied the stars. They studied the planets. They studied the cosmos outside of the Earth as well, and how they affect the Earth and its human, plant, and other various forms of life on it, to give them an advantage cosmically over those who did not currently have access to this knowledge. Knowledge is power. So the more knowledge that we have, the more potential power we possess as well, because all knowledge is useful no matter on what topics it's concerning. Knowing you are an extension of the all. You are connected to the all. You are part of the all. If we didn't have the bees, boom. If we didn't have the flowers and the trees, boom. If we didn't have all the field animals doing their part, it would directly affect the ecosystem. The earth created and sustained these various different types of life forms so that they can in turn could sustain it as well. Fertilizing the grass, fertilizing the soil, be it through feces, bowel movements, or pollinating the flowers, or dead carcasses going back to the earth and the nutrients from it replenishing the earth. I hope you're following me. Our ancestors knew this. They understood this, and they applied this knowledge to their everyday life as well, and made it part of their culture. That's why our ancestors were so advanced. That's why they were so powerful. That's why they knew things that civilizations today still don't have a clue of, along with the fact that they were one with nature, or netta, versus being GMO. or artificially, genetically modified versions of nature that are at war with nature itself and all that is a part of it. So I go back into what made me go so deep into this knowledge from the beginning. The more we know about ourselves and what is infinitely extended around ourselves, then the more we have the ability to tap into that potential power that comes with utilizing and applying that knowledge. That includes the spirit realm, which we are one with as well. See, to say the phrase that we are our ancestors, yet not believe that we are one with the spirit realm that our ascended ancestors' source selves are now in, then we will be lying or not fully internalizing how deep that statement goes when we say we are our ancestors. When you are at war, you must utilize all the tools available. And we are divine beings in the physical form. So we have access to not only these physical powers and tools, but we also have access to those divine ones as well. This can only be done by us relearning what we, in the form of our ancestors, once knew about ourselves and the infinite omniverse around us, and that we are an extension of. Then tapping into that knowledge and power that's in our spiritual, etherical, and physical DNA, and once again mastering how to use it in our everyday lives. Now, this won't happen overnight, you know what I'm saying? And we won't be able to learn in a couple of months or years what took us thousands of years to forget. But we are alchemists by netta or nature. And the original neteru of this planet and omniverse period, who have all the elements of the planet and the infinite cosmos within us as well. And all it takes is for us to learn how to realign our frequencies or vibrations with those of the various elements inside of us and around us in order to summon their power through us. You don't have to believe me. I don't expect most of you to. You do the math and research on your own. But all this is real. And it will be done. And we are awakening and relearning fast, along with tuning in and tapping into some of those infinite energies with us as we speak right now. People said that Einstein was crazy because they couldn't mentally wrap their brains or their minds around the message he was trying to convey to them, what truth he was trying to bring forth for them to be able to internalize and see as well. They said the same thing about Nikola Tesla. And I'm sure that the ones that both of them studied from and learned, Imhotep and Dehudi, the same things were being said about them as well. But here we are, tens if not hundreds of thousands of years later, talking on these same subjects and learning and seeing what they were seeing back then. Do the knowledge, tune in, tap in. It's your Nutter Brother Andre. 360 degrees of wholeness, balance, perfection, and power. Abiba Fahudiak.